Hello, my golf fanatics. Billy Ho is here with another preview for the PGA Tour. We are heading over to begin the Florida Swing. We're doing, which was formerly the event formerly known as Honda. It's now the Cognizant Classic. So be aware of that. No pun intended. We are going to get into the golf course, the PGA National. It's a brute. It's we're going to go over all the skills needed to play. We're going to go over some player pools, some stats, all that kind of good stuff to get your research going for this week. Get that jump off that you want on your competition and your DFS weekly lineups, your one and dones, and all that kind of good stuff. Tons of good players. Cognizant added 16 of the top 50 players. The field's twice as good as it was last year. So before we get going, I want to do a quick plug for my Kentucky Derby and horse racing content. Check that out because it is fire. We are getting it going. I did a Saudi Cup preview, which that race is going to jump off in about an hour or so. So as soon as I'm done with this video, I'm going to hit the betting and get my bets in. White Barrio all the way. So we're going to get going on that. Kentucky Derby is going to be here before you know it. It's in my hometown, Louisville, Kentucky. I'm a $10 Uber ride from Churchill Downs. I've been there dozens of times, hundreds of times. Honestly, I've been to the Derby dozens of times and or Oaks. So if you plan on attending the Derby, I've got some ticket information that I put in the description of all my horse racing content videos, which is helpful. So that is also the case. And also the case is 2 weeks after the Derby is going to be the PGA Championship in Louisville, Kentucky, doubling up. What a great month of May we're going to have. It's going to be so awesome. Valhalla Golf Course. So that's going to be great. I was there in 96 for the very first time Valhalla got it. I missed Tigers 2000, but I was there for Rory in 2014. That was a blast. That course is a really, really fun atmosphere. So I'll give you all you need to know there. Lastly, just remember to subscribe to the channel. Smash that like button. Leave me a comment. Say where you're pointing at this week. Well, let's get it going. PGA National is a Tom and George Fazio designed golf course. It has had multiple Jack Nicklaus redesigns. It's a short, technical, par 70 golf course, plays about 7,100 yards. Water everywhere, obviously, narrow fairways, Bermuda grass most of the way through. The rough has some overseeded perennial rye. The rough's 2.5 inches. The greens are roughly 7,000 square feet on average. That's Tiff Eagle Bermuda, so that's that real pure stuff. Tournament stimp is 12, which is fast. So the weather, I think, is going to be fine. But when it comes to the weather, you're in Florida. It's not exactly coastal, but it's coastal enough where the wind is going to be a factor. So that looks like maybe the only impediment. But there is always rain. It's Florida, so you never know how the weather's going to change. That's always something to monitor. This is one that will probably have wave advantages, AM, PM, PM, AM, depending on what time of the day the wind is coming. And if there is any rain or storms in the forecast, you'll hear all about 15 through 17, a.k.a. the bear trap, how hard it is, how many balls. It is tough. I mean, it's impossible. It just claims a lot of its share of balls in the water. So basically, the golf course itself is known as probably the toughest non-major golf course on the regular PGA Tour. So what we're going to do is get into some skills required to tackle this course. As you see the flyover, above the shoulders, strategy, patience, mental toughness, all needed to succeed. But you have to have a short memory when you have balls in the water. things of that nature. Things don't go your way. Accuracy off the tee is important, but not paramount. Players will dial it back off the tee. You'll see driving distances down. So there's lots of tree trouble and water lurking on the majority, and a lot of it's on the right side of the fairway. There are good landing zones on the left that leave good angles to the green. So it's hit the draw, baby. Uh, Players that hit a natural draw or can hit a draw do seem to fare pretty well. The last three winners all had that tendency. Kirk, Straka, Matt Jones. But it's not a prerequisite, but it does help on many of those holes, like you saw in the flyover. The rough is not super penal. Bermuda has some of that ryegrass in there. So let's take a look at a little bit of deeper dive into the stats. Here's a look at the 18 holes and how they play relative to par. You can see that the right here, number 5 here is, or this par 5 is 540 yards. Let me get this a little bit better for you so we can see what we're doing. I'll put up a link, front nine, back nine. I'll give you all the stats, bogeys, and all that nonsense. So we'll get you going there. But obviously, putting is important, Bermuda putting and things of that nature. You're going to need a lot more of the defensive type stats this week. Scrambling around the green, bogey avoidance. I like putting on Bermuda from 5 to 15 feet. Strokes gained approach. Going to be very similar. I like this. This is new from Rick Rungood's site. He's got a couple of really good new things going on here. This one is a pretty good one. Tells you the tendencies on the driving, fairways hit and whatnot off the tee. But this one is the one I like. It shows you the average approach by hole. And you can see how you got a lot of a lot of the mid irons, which is like the 140, 150s, but you got a lot of the 160s, 170s, 176, over 200. There's a lot of over 200s out there, but some of that comes from the par 5s. This is some putting stats as well. It just tells you and they're basically all about the same, but I like the 5 to 15 feet. That's where you make them. So the long irons, similar to what we saw this week in Mexico, I think it's important because those long irons translate over to here. It's just the driving distance changes. So that's pretty much all I wanted to show you there. We're going to get into some players, and I'll show you the player pool that I got in mind, some strokes gained total, like who's all the leaders, like course history type of thing. So basically, when it comes to the players I've been looking at, I just kind of jotted down some notes off the top of my head. Benny An, Byung-Hung An didn't play here last year, but he has like the best strokes gained total. And if he can continue that improved putting, he's going to be really good. I think maybe one day he's going to break through. He seems to be right on the cusp, but he doesn't have that clutch gene to get that like last couple of holes and swallow that lump in his throat to get it done. Maybe one of these days he'll come into Sunday with a 9-stroke lead or something and go ham on a Saturday. I think that's kind of how he's going to win that first tournament. I think the pressure gets to him late, but he's going to be tough anyway. Shane Lowry plays well here. He's in good form right now. He's got some reps on the West Coast swing. Eric Cole lost in a playoff last year. He's a dude I think you just probably need to bet every week till he wins because he makes every cut anyway. Or you can just bet him top 20 and you would probably come out ahead every year you play because the guy just seems to get it done anywhere and everywhere. But this particular course is good suited for him. So Keith Mitchell, past champ. He rallied to make the cut in Mexico. Good with those long irons. Hashtag Bermuda Keith. Keith Mitchell puts his best on this Bermuda grass surface. So he's a guy I'm going to have a lot of interest in. Sepp Straka, past champ, hits that draw. He's an elite. He's becoming an elite type player who plays in these tough fields and can compete. He's won a multiple winner on the PGA Tour, so he's going to be in the mix. Carson Young just keeps making cut after cut. He's not as long off the tee, so he's going to be better suited here. He rallied to make the cut in Mexico. Dylan Wu, similar skill set. He looks good. Chris Kirk, obviously last year's champion. He hits the draw. He can putt it well on Bermuda when he gets rolling. And he just dials in those irons like the best of the best. So he's looking good. A new shooter, Matty Fitz, looks like a great course fit himself. They don't call him Matty Fitz for nothing. So it doesn't matter to me that he hasn't played here before. He drives it well. He hits those long irons, and he's a great Bermuda putter. That's the guys I like. Tons of guys are good this week, but that's just kind of a jumping off point for maybe to get you a few guys to start looking at and start narrowing that player pool. We'll have a full field, I'm sure. We've got alternates and all that kind of good stuff. Builds this week when DraftKings pricing comes out. Don't forget to jump in the Billy Ho contest. Also, I think I'm going to go like the true traditional balanced. I'll probably grab 2 9s, 2 8s, 2 7s just to do an opening build and then maybe work it around from there. Maybe 1 9, 3 8s, things of that nature to try to get different. That's the way I'm looking at it so far this week, but I always reserve the right to change my mind. I appreciate you guys watching. Best of luck this week and this weekend. And until the next time, see you soon.